Okay, so I'm going to be streaming some work that I'm going to do for the PowerShell Live. Um, Twitch doesn't do notifications for hosting, so we have 100 plus followers on PowerShell Live Twitch channel now, and they're not going to get any kind of notification. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work through creating some Azure functions and some queues to kind of work through some automated notifications when our hosting channels go live. Um, Unfortunately, they're not going to notify through Twitch, but we'll be able to notify through Slack, Twitter, and uh, Discord, things like that. Um, Unfortunately, this isn't going to be PowerShell related. It's going to be more heavy on the C# because Azure functions in PowerShell are painful and I don't really like using them. And some of this stuff is already done in .NET and C#, so I can do a lot of copy-paste programming as opposed to a lot of either refactoring from existing .NET or um, doing stuff from scratch in PowerShell. So unfortunately, if you're watching this for some PowerShell stuff, you're not going to see much of that. But I'm going to be switching back and forth between VS Code and the browser. Fortunately, this is going to be very Google intensive because I don't know what I'm doing half the time. I haven't programmed in Azure Functions v2 yet, so that's going to be new. It's been a while since I've done Azure Functions, so I need some refreshers on that. And for the most part, these APIs are new, that I haven't used them, so I'm going to be relying very heavily on documentation in Google for a lot of this. So I've done some setup work. I've got a project set up in Visual Studio, or sorry, Azure DevOps. I've got a service connection set up with a subscription that I'm borrowing. I can't use my work subscription, personal one, because technically anything I do there would be owned by the company, so I can't really use that without risking all of this being forced to be closed sourced or something. So I have to use my own resources for this. Uh, so I've got this set up. It's not public yet, it's private, because I'm not sure what all is going to be in it yet, and I don't want to accidentally make something public that shouldn't be. I've also done some preliminary research. I found this TwitchLib webhook module for C#. It's got some decent models, if nothing else, for the webhooks that come in, and most specifically the stream uh, stream and stream data webhooks that have information that would come back from this. I've also looked up the webhook reference for this. So I'm not going to be tying in directly with the API yet, so I'm not going to be doing any real webhooks back from their service or anything like that. So I do need to know the models though and how to interact with them, so I can do some testing. And then I've done some how to create Azure functions in VS Code. I've never done them in VS Code. I've always done them in Visual Studio, but I can't use my Visual Studio because that's also owned by my company and technically it would be theirs. So I'm using VS Code for this. So this is a little new. But I've got kind of a rough idea of what I want the functions to work like and kind of the pieces. So there's two Azure resources. We need an Azure app service with Azure functions on it, and then we also need a storage account. Will have some queues in them. So the idea is that we're going to have uh, an ingestion endpoint for the webhook data from Twitter. I mean Twitch. It'll come in, and every time a stream goes online or offline, it'll hit this endpoint, and yeah, I could probably use Visual Studio Community, but I'll just say that I'm more comfortable programming in C Sharp in uh, in VS Code than I am in Visual Studio also, because I started out with .NET Core, so I'm a I'm a little more comfortable using VS Code anyways. Um, so no, I'm really streaming, um, uh, but it's just not going to be PowerShell related. It's going to be more heavy C Sharp, Azure um, queues, and Azure functions related. So anyways, going back to the architecture of this, the webhook will go into an ingestion endpoint that will do some validation. They have a secret that you can use that will validate that a webhook is correct. You provide a secret when you do the subscription, and it will um, encrypt or basically do a signature on that on the body of the request with the secret in SHA-256. So you can kind of use that to validate that you're getting a proper webhook and not just your own stuff. So that's going to be the primary focus of the ingestion endpoint. Its output is going to be a storage queue, and that queue is going to trigger off another Azure function. That Azure function is going to go through the queue and requeue these for the various services. So the idea is that we'll be able to plug and play multiple notification endpoints. So Twitter, the Slack, Discord, whatever. And since those are all kind of different and will use their own kind of stuff, they'll have different queues, and so the next hop will just take the original ingestion queue and requeue for all the available services, and then each service will be triggered by its queue. So there'll be like a Twitter queue, and it'll take the queue item there, and then do the Twitter notification, and then happily close off there. So so that's kind of the architecture. After we get at least the notification piece done, working with at least Twitter, the next part that I'll work on, and this is definitely not going to all get done today because I'm definitely not that proficient with all of this to do it all very quickly. But the next piece would be a piece to work with the configuration of which channels are to be subscribed to or unsubscribed to. So unfortunately, there's no API in Twitch to pull in the channels that I'm setting to auto host. So I can't use the same exact list. I'll have to maintain it separately. So the idea that I have is to use a JSON file that has a list of the channels that we want to watch. That'll be submitted to an Azure function endpoint. That'll be read in, and then it will it'll pull in all the subscriptions that it's using, find out the ones that are missing and queue those to be added, and then find the ones that are subscribed to but are no longer to list and add those to be queue those to be removed. And so there'll be two other Azure functions for subscribing and unsubscribing behind that. So tied together with some queue. And thank you for hosting, Corey. Need more buzzword bingo. So sorry. So yeah, so this is a little over architected. I mean, I could do this all as probably a single Azure function with the scope of the number of stuff that we have, but I figure uh, it's a fun idea to architect this out as something that could scale and be used for other things, and maybe other people could find some decent usages for this. So um, that's kind of the idea of why it's so over architected. Right. So I the Azure function that I've created. So I went through the documentation on how to create an Azure function in VS Code so that I've got this up here and running. I've added a simple function into it for Twitch webhook ingestion is the name of the function, and it's got it's just an HTTP trigger. It's going to be run by anonymous get post route null. Yeah, I don't really know all of these, but what I do know is that I also need to get in the pieces used for the Twitch lib. So in their models from that project that I was talking about, they have the stream data and the stream CS, and I'm going to kind of borrow these. So I'm going to just steal their models folder. So now I've got models in here for this. So I've got at least their data models that'll help somewhat with the ingestion here. Right now the repo is empty for this, so there's nothing in it. I haven't synced up anything. I haven't even done a first commit, so it's empty anyways. But I will link this other repo here, Firefox. Let's get this. So this, I'll link to this. This one is public. It's not mine. This is what I'm stealing the data models from, at least. All right. So I've got the data models, and I know that I'm going to be ingesting a stream data, which is, yeah, it's basically just a list of streams. Like if you look at the so here's the webhook reference. It basically sends a data in, and then it's an array of these. I guess it's possible that it could be sending you multiple notifications in a single webhook. So that's why we're going to use some queuing. And in the data model, there's the stream data is kind of the outer one, and it just has a data property, and inside that is the stream property. So this stream is what I'm going to be sending to the queue, or so each stream in the list of streams is going to get sent to the queue um, from this. So doesn't he have a license? Isn't it? Yeah, yeah. It's MIT. So I'm gonna just copy the license file too. Why not rip off his license? Here. Um, there. Now it's property, and I should probably do third-party notices as well. Whenever I publish this. Right now, so I don't have this public, right? It's not doing anything. Yeah. So I don't need to license anything until I publish anything, and I haven't published anything. So get off my back, Thomas. Yeah. Well, no, you can't license. So anything that's unpublished doesn't require a license, right? So by default, it's not licensed, and you don't even need to consider licensing it until you publish. So you have to license it before you publish it, right? And I'm not publishing anything. Like I said, my remote repo is private and has nothing in it, so I'm fine, guys. Oh, fantastic. Um, let's see. All right, so this used to have an output piece in um, V1 functions. I wonder how they handle outputs in uh, V2 functions. I could use a distraction. This is gonna be rough, right? And it's gonna take a long time. So like, uh, this is gonna be a bit painful. Like I said, it's gonna be a very Google heavy session. So let's see how this works, right? Like um, Azure function v2 outputs. Yeah. Is this for bare versions v1 and v2? So our languages migrating. V2 requires you to install the extensions for a specific trigger. Wow, this is radically different. This will be fun. Just return something, I think. I mean, usually you have, like in the V1 functions, you would have an input and output defined, and the output gets passed in uh, as a class or the method parameter, and then yeah, but maybe it's not. I don't know. This is going to be weird. I it's been so long too since I've done these. So, host, local settings. Doesn't even have anything. Yep, here we go. Ooh, or puts. It's fantastic. Azure Q storage bindings for Azure functions. Triggers. Looking for output. Do they have that? Output. Yeah. Return Q. Storage account. Azure storage. Awesome. Yeah, public static string. So this is basically what I need right here. This this piece of code. West US 2, man. I'm in Silicon Valley, so I need to use West US 2. So that's where I need my storage capacity increased. So here's a question. Did this as a CS and not a CSX one. Good, because I have never had much fun with the CSX ones. It's doing function name. Then I need to add a storage account. Thing. Install the package. .NET add package. I need to add some packages for the storage in here. That's gonna help. So
Trace where you would sleep beside me, conversations in my sheets, body to body, a sudden hit to my blind side, like a ghost I couldn't find. I remember you said to me, nothing's gonna
Oh,
break us,
huh. My mic was muted. That's fun. Ah. So what I was saying is that I need to use this namespace, um, but I come in here and it's not doing this. So is it using TwitchLab webhook models? This isn't even like auto-completing for me. What do I use for the chat on screen? I use the Streamlabs chat. I just have it overlaid, and underneath is my background swapping. So like, if I make this go away, you can see I've got random anime backgrounds just cycling through here. So, using name space, Control Z. See, that doesn't work either. I forget how to do this. It's been so long. Oh. would hope that it would be in here. They don't have this in the gallery or anything like that, so do have some good documentation here for how to register for each of these. Oh, that's true. Hmm. I'm not sure having both of these open at the same time is a great idea. But firstborn to so this is not, no, it still doesn't see it, and it's still not completing this. So maybe I've got to, I mean, it should just work. Unless something in here is like, item group. Yeah. It should just work. Like, C# folder files in here should just automatically pick up. But perhaps I don't have, so Newtonsoft JSON is loaded, right? I've got that in yeah, I'm already doing that there. So that's not new. That's the only thing that these are doing besides system and collection. Maybe it just doesn't like having multiple namespaces in the same project? That doesn't seem right. Alright, time to Google. This shouldn't be like a problem at all. This is so stupid. It should just pick that up. Then it's not. Ugh. I might have to just rename space here. That's not cool, but welcome to open source, right? Just copy, paste, and butcher. It's all good. Yeah, this this is the folder that contains the CS proj file, and should be fine. Oh, what I can probably do instead of renaming those, but let me try this right quick just to see, since it's well, it likes that for whatever reason. Um, it picked that up. Now does it stream data? Yeah. That was a lot. I shouldn't need the actual project info because these models are very simple, right? Like they're just classes, um, and they're just properties. So they're just property bags. So they shouldn't need anything. And they're using is all like just Newtonsoft JSON and system and system collections generic, and those are already like loaded in everything else. But yeah, changing the namespace works, but I think the reason why changing the namespace in this worked and saving the files is that it rebuilt underneath the hood this stuff. So I'm thinking that if I were to revert this back to their namespace, this is hey, let's figure out how C# works, like on live stream, right? It's one of the reasons why I debated whether or not to live stream this. This is very much like how to fail a million ways, failure way to success. It's important, I guess. I guess. Um, Now let's see. Ha! So that worked. I probably could have deleted the obj folder and then reloaded uh, OmniSharp, and it probably would have fixed that. Is what I'm guessing is that it had all that cache. But anyways, doing some copy paste save fixed it. So now I can continue to use their namespace and not feel bad about it. All right, so what I've got here is I've got a fake queue and a fake storage account. I should really be using configuration for this, because I'm not a fan of hard-coded values. It's not cool in my book. It's not flexible. But I really don't want to go through the process of learning how configure works right now, because I always like mess that up and stumble through it. So we'll leave it there for now. Yeah. I don't know. Is app.config the same one that you use for Azure functions? Because there's like some ones that you can use in the Azure stuff that can go beyond what's available in the environment, what's available in this, that, and the other, and allow for all kinds of additional configuration options. And that's the ones you're supposed to use for Azure stuff. So, but I won't mess with that right now. I'll add this to my to-do. So now that I've made a mental note and a physical note to do this later, on to better things. So now that I spent like an ridiculous amount of time just figuring out how to use this data model instead of just taking in the raw request object. Let me go back to the documentation on using queue outputs and see what all needs to be done. Dynamic input text. So this takes in a dynamic object called input and text, but so what the ever-living heck is it doing there? Like, what is this? Input is a dynamic, so that's just a, like, whatever, like it's a property bag, right? Or it could be kind of any kind of object. And it's apparently got a text. But some terrible, very terrible examples here. I'm just going to assume that I take in a web request, it'll do that, takes in a logger. I'm going to log some stuff about this now. Yeah, it's probably just the request. Like, I think that it defaults that if you don't provide a type, it will just do the request object, and there probably is a text on the HTTP request object. Yeah. So I don't have this anymore. Goodbye. Change that up. I don't need this anymore. But I am going to add some more log. Stream data, webhook. So dot data dot count. That'll be important to know, because I'm going to have to loop through this and do multiple. Now I wonder how you do multiple queuing, because I'm not just queuing one item into the queue. Doing multiple, so that'll be interesting. Yeah. So the benefit of using data models in this is that like I know what the shape of this data looks like what's inside it. And the other benefit is that if somebody tries to submit something to us that doesn't fit that shape, then it'll fail. So it kind of enforces that you have the right data structure. And since we have a contract from them what the webhook is going to look like, there's no reason not to use a data model here instead of just a dynamic property bag. This is one of the reasons why I like the C# ones over no, it won't do anything. So I've done this before with the Azure functions. If you use a data model for the input object, it does the transformation on it for you to the data model. It's a common pattern. Yeah, yeah. Which is yeah, and like I said, it has the added benefit of automatically rejecting requests that don't fit the data model. Um, it's it's not this easy with things like actually no, you can do the same thing with the what's it called? Um, ASP.NET uh, endpoints too. You can set a specific data model for the input on something, and it'll automatically do the JSON transformation to that data model. So yeah, you don't get the request data. There's another thing that you do. Like I think that you can add a additional one here to have like request or something, and it'll return the request data. But if you don't care about the request data, um, then actually I do care about the request data though. I need to get that. Might behoove me not to use the data model here, but I'll have to see. Because I actually need some headers from what they sent in. No, because you can take in both the data model and the request. It's possible. Um, I just don't know how to do it off the top of my head. Yeah, let me look. Yeah, it's gonna be in here. Yeah, you can also bind a custom object instead of ensuring the object is created from the body of the request. Parse the JSON similarly type can be binding. But I need both. Do you have an example of doing both? Because that would be awesome. It does not. Click the dark button. Is there a... Yes, much better. Yeah. So they have the one using that. I really don't want to do my own transformation on that. Well, it's a good thing I don't work directly for Microsoft, so I can use that excuse, right? Like, come on. They don't have that. Probably need one outside of Microsoft Docs. Copy this. Function accept custom object and HTTP request method. I know there's a way to do it. I just don't know the order of operations. Oh, oh man. Yeah, what I'm trying to do is on the Azure function, accept both a custom, uh, data type and the request, because I need to get some headers from the request as well. But I don't want to do the parsing myself because I'm lazy, and I know that there's a way to do this. I just can't remember how. And I don't know if it's like something like I just also take in the like this. Like, I don't know if that works at all. Yeah, because if that works, that would be really awesome. But I don't think it's that simple, or there's like an order to it. I don't even know. Because the why is that not? It's not giving me anything. Well, yeah, I get that you want that, but Come on. What the heck? All right. It's not letting me do dot completion on that either. It's not even... Okay, what did they have in this? Let me do something first. Let me create a reference function. It's about to happen, right? Like I'm being very obstinate about this, like for no really good reason. Yeah, whatever. Go. I just want to use this one as an example of what it was doing before. HTTP request. Rec. All right. It's still not doing that. But it has to be in there because it's the same using statement. But this one, like, if I do rec dot, it. All right, I'm just gonna say that C# needs to be restarted again because that's how you fix like 99% of the problems here, right? Delete this one. All right. So now let's see. It's still. Come on, man. You. Oh, that's it. Delete. Move to recycle bin. How do I close this folder? Deploy. I just want to remove this one from the new file open convert inspection and remove folder from workspace. There we go. I think that having two C# projects in here at the same time is also a cause for great concern. Yeah, it says that like it doesn't know, like it's giving me generate this type, but the thing is when I created a fresh one, it was there, and I'm pretty sure that it's underneath ASP netcore HTTP, right? Like I'm pretty sure that that's there. I'm just gonna return null, make sure that it's not because I've got some weirdness there that it's complaining. Still not. Yeah, fully qualify it. That's weird. Like, it stopped, what? Uh, hold on. Oh, that's cute. Um, that's really weird. It doesn't see that. If you try turning it off and on again multiple times now, like that's weird. It doesn't even see these appear. Like, I don't know. I shouldn't have to add these into the package, but we'll see. Like, uh, is it ASP.NET Core? I'm sure that's like not even a valid package. Yeah. .NET package and .NET add package, other way around. I've got a, yeah, I got a squiggly here for that. All right. So, HTTP. Yeah, I'm going to. That's so weird. Like the sample when I'm using it. Like if I create a brand new one, it's like, yeah, that's fine. This one's like, oh man, you can't do that. That's not cool. Microsoft dot a. I don't even know what's going on here, man. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Is like I should just be able to add the binding for the HTTP requests and for the custom data, and it figures it out, right? Like I'm pretty sure. I just didn't know if it was like needed to be in a specific order or what. Um, but this is a mystery to me. Why can't I um, even go into this namespace? So like Microsoft dot, and all it's got is C sharp. It doesn't see ASP.NET, ASP.NET Core or anything. That's yeah, no, so like the technicalities of it is like even if I use my employer's resources for a tiny bit of it, it's theirs. So like even just to test the code without any of the actual logic in it makes the product theirs, according to my stuff. So I'm not gonna even risk it. Except for the fact that I'm like doing this on a recorded live stream with several viewers. Yeah, I'll try that. But the thing is, like, even down in here, I should be able to like say like Microsoft dot. Yeah, I can't even like see it in the body. So like an HTTP request isn't available. It's like it just doesn't see the. Don't tell me that's like a second package out, for crying out loud. Uh, for reals, that's really going to annoy the hell out of me. Yeah, but I'd have to go through the whole thing of getting Community Edition installed and set up and all that Twitch stream NDA. I mean, in my estimation, I shouldn't even have to add this in here for that to work. Um, but I'm also like, I've never had this kind of problem with a C# project in VS Code, but it has been quite a while since I've touched anything in VS Code with C#. So maybe there's been enough changes that it's like. Well, I meant that like I didn't think I would need to add it in here because the like doing the new Azure Functions project should work, right? It should put that in there for me, um, especially since it's like, yeah. I'm going to add these other packages, ASP.NET Core MVC. Yeah, it's just weird that it like it doesn't even have Newtonsoft JSON in there, or did it? Did it have that one? Yeah, it has. No, it didn't. It didn't even have Newtonsoft JSON in there. So their template is crap, maybe, and that explains some of this. But what are you doing? Go away. .NET package add. Newtonsoft JSON. Uh, or this is starting to look a little bit more right. I'm just a little perturbed that I have to do this all myself, and the thing should do it for me. System threading tasks, that one should be fine. Microsoft Azure Web Jobs probably needs to be by itself. And probably Microsoft extensions logging. It's actually pretty cool. I've not played with much in the chat on this, but that's kind of cool, that entire setup there. Alright, now I'm going to delete the obj folder, restart OmniSharp, and do a .NET restore. So output, no, OmniSharp log. It's still seeing that. Delete that stuff too. Going through. Just trying to clean this up. I think part of it also was having that other project in the workspace was like screwing up everything. But restart OmniSharp again, and this time look at the logs for that. Yeah, it's still pulling in that project. I might need to totally close out of here. Is there like, anyone know if VS Code has like a reload option? Starting this back up is kind of painful. Anyways, I'll just put this up to the Firefox screen while we're dealing with that. Yeah, reload window. I'll try that. I don't know if that'll fix everything, but it doesn't seem to have restarted OmniSharp. There we go. OmniSharp log. Terraform is not installed, but I'm not doing anything with Terraform. What? Yes. Cancel. All right. Yeah, reloading the windows seemed to have fixed this. So lesson learned, don't have more than one C# project folder open. I don't know if this fixed all of my problems, and that would require extensive therapy anyways, but maybe at least some of these problems will have been resolved now. Let's try HTTP. Oh, for crying out loud. Nothing. Oh. Okay. Meta Azure extension. Yeah, we should probably try drinking about it. That sounds like a great idea. I mean, it's only like 10 a.m. here. It's perfect time. It's holiday, right? It's okay to get sloshed this early in the day. Like I said, I didn't expect to get very far with this, and I really did expect to stumble on all of this, but I did not expect to have this many problems with just regular C#. That is so annoying. Now it doesn't even see the Microsoft name. Oh god, I don't even know what's going on. It's not net clean work. Dot net restore. I'll try .net build because this shouldn't have. Detected packet version outside of dependency constraint. Oh, that's cute. So we need a specific version of Newtonsoft in here. We need 1102. That, or I need to get a new version of the Microsoft.NET SDK functions. Let's try. So what's this link giving me? Is that trigger? It says either HTTP request method. Oh. Yeah, it's quite possible. Well, this is an interesting read. Okay, so I need an HTTP request message then. What's the what's the parent of HTTP request message? Is that ASP core.htp .net? Yeah, I still need the older version. All right. Okay, so I do have the HTTP trigger applied to the model object and HTTP. Oh, look at that! Finally. I need an HTTP request message. Only that's interesting. Like I get no hover over for what that is, and I don't get any notification about anything on it. So what's in there? Nothing. Oh. Oh yeah, that does help. It's a important thing. Still get nothing for this. Let's try the restart of the Omni Sharp and the saves. This is not something I've had much trouble with before. God. Wreck. Still have HTTP. I have HTTP requests. So let's see. What's this? Go to Mr. Google. Yeah, this is like in. Thanks for the follow, Layers. I don't know. I just need to see what the parent is for this HTTP request method because it's not showing up right now. And VS Code, I don't get the nice little ability to just figure this out. This is frustrating, right? Oh, um, yeah. .NET Core merged with API. What the? That doesn't answer the question at all. It should be, it's a compat shim. So what is it actually? What's the new one? It's HTTP request. Yeah, that's what it had in the original one. Yeah. So there we go. There's some stuff. All right. So I need to. So the primary tasks of this function is to get the is to verify the content is actually being sent. So you have to do some work with the secrets and the body of the message, and then also send it to the queue at the end. So I need to get the header from out of this. So this is going to be signature. I'm pretty sure this is a string, but it's actually probably going to be a string content or whatever the weird thing that ASP.NET uses instead of actual strings or string arrays. Rec dot headers dot try get value, string value is what it's going to return. Yeah. Boom. So string key and out string value. So key is, according to the documentation, should see something in here about secret, yeah, X hub signature. So this should also be a static string somewhere that I should define for now. And I need double quotes. SnowMonkey, I actually need to take this in from the Azure function it's passed in. I'm not creating a brand new one. I need to get the one that was passed in. I'm not creating a request to send off to another server. Take a look at this. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Try get value out new string value. I guess I need to take this in. New string values. And this will be the value of the, so this would be the signature. But I don't think it's, I think it's string value, right? No, I was right. I don't know if this is the right way to do it though. I know there's a way to find the new it just doing this? Is that all? I think that's all. I think that's the way that you define the new value at the same time. I could just do this, but I actually want to use this. Yeah. So I was saying that this one is not. So the the point of this is for the PowerShell Live stream, so that we can send out notifications when people do go live. But I didn't want to use PowerShell for it, and yeah, technically this is not a PowerShell stream. And that's another limitation of the PowerShell Live channel, is that um, obviously I don't want to set like a hard rule that all the streamers on there can only do PowerShell content, because that will lead to people creating multiple channels, and that's just silly. Um, so it's going to be like sometimes you'll get somebody who is maybe doing a game instead of PowerShell, or doing some C# instead of PowerShell. I think the idea is that since we have that technical limitation, we'll just say that the PowerShell Live channel is kind of just a collection of um, people who do PowerShell live streaming, and to check them out and to really subscribe to them, and then hopefully put some content on the PowerShell Live uh, that is actually PowerShell related. But yeah. So try get value. If anyone is more PowerShell minded than C# minded, try get value on stuff is really awesome, because it tries to get the value, and then it returns a bool of true if it's successful, and then if it is successful, it assigns it to the value that you provide it, to the variable that you provide it. Um, you can shortcut that a lot in PowerShell itself, but in C# you'd have to do like multiple steps, some try and catches if you didn't do it this way, to ensure that things are there. Because there's no way for me to enforce that this has to be present in the request. So um, So what I'm going to do here is I'm like, if not, so if I was unsuccessful at getting this, I need to throw a new exception. Throw. Uh, uh, I really think that I'm doing this wrong. Like, this should be like new, right? I'm pretty sure that you're supposed to do some kind of new, and then maybe it's this. Yeah, maybe that works. I don't know. Uh, uh, I believe you can just throw. In their examples, they throw. Um, no parents. So when I don't have parents, new is like this color. Out new var name. Let's try that. And this one is like new. Um, new. I'm trying to think of a good exception. So just var. Out var out var signature should work, right? How about this one? You're defining it in line with throw. There's a way to do it. I won't be fancy there. I'll just do. Oh, Jesus. This really needs to be a static value somewhere. I could probably do this the way that everyone else does it and not suffer through that. Yeah, but I don't care. Like, uh, let's see. Um, I guess now's a good time to look up on here on Azure function turning error, how to return errors. Return HTTP request, create response, HTTP status code, internal server error, exception.message. So, and then yeah, the problem is that is this a V1? Because this looks like a V1. Is it going to be the same in V2? How much has changed in V2? I really love all of this. It's fantastic. All right. I need to take a quick break and I will be right back. All right. So going back to this documentation here. HTTP request create response. HTTP status code. And we'll see if this works. I'm not entirely believing this will work right, but I also need to find a good. So HTTP status code, which I'll probably have to figure out what is the ASP.NET equivalent. HTTP request. Is there? Yeah, there's not a create response for that on that one. Yeah, this doesn't look like this is going to work at all for V2. So I need to find a better solution on the Googles. All right, Azure function V2, how to return error. Let's see. Not found object result. Not found object result. Okay, looks like this is a starting point. I can find some sisters to this one, some sibling types. It's going to be in the MVC one. Okay, result. Director 2 requires HTTPS attribute, no. Unauthorized result. Unprocessable. Thanks for the follow. Magvaby? Whatever. Oh, what? That's not helpful. What? Get off that. Alright, so it's going to be some kind of result that I need to send back. Accepted. Action content. Action result. Area. Bad request result. That looks good. Status code result. When executed, will produce a 400 bad requests. That's probably right. See what all is derived. We got bad request conflict, no content, not found. Okay, unauthorized conflict. So yeah, bad request result sounds good. I'm going to go with that one. Yeah, return new not found object result. So it's going to be return new bad request result. That should work because I have MVC already in there. So hopefully let's return new bad request result. What constructors does this have? Does it not have any? So it can't send a message? No. Nope. Just by itself, 400. I guess that's good enough. But I should log so that I know why I'm sending 400. Log information. All right, so now I check for the header. If it's not there, I send a bad request result and get out of this. So the next thing to do is to log error. I guess. I mean, if we're going to be proper about it, then yeah, I guess. Right, so now we should have a proper signature. So now we have to actually check the signature. And there was a cool piece of code to do this. In the lib module that I found, that seems to be right. So there is, let's see, Twitch lib. In here, filters, verify signature filter. So I kind of pilfered this from them to find out. Oh, look, that's entertaining. I could probably do that bad request object and pass the thing in. So anyways, this is what it looks like. They send in this xhub signature, and then it gets like SHA-256 blah blah blah, and it's the hash. And the hash is taken from the there's a secret that you supply, and then there's also some stuff that they do. Anyways, come in here from hex, create bad hex encoding result. So compute request body SHA-256 async. So this right here is the secret sauce, and that is a real function or method that could be used from something that's in ASP.NET Core webhooks something or other. So it's, I don't know why this doesn't show up, but it's a real, like Google search failed on it, but it's supposedly like inside the MVC or web jobs thing, but maybe it's not anymore. Maybe it got deprecated or removed, and that's why it's like failing. But webhook filters is I think where it's actually at. So no love there. Um, yeah, just double check the name of that. Again, it is webhooks.filter, so I probably need to add this package because it doesn't look like it exists inside the namespace itself, so it's probably a separate package. Error is incompatible with all frameworks and project blah blah blah. Okay. Well, that's not cool. I really want to use this this function. All right, so might have to reinvent the wheel or something, but I mean, this is the compute request body SHA-256 hash async. Well, actually, this like Twitch lib thing is a 2.1 framework. Maybe it's ASP.NET Core. Let's look what they have in there. This is also using a solution file instead of a CS proj. Unless it just happens to be in, there it is. MVC, webhooks, receivers. Yeah, this is like some seriously 1.0 stuff. That's fantastic. 1.0 preview 1 final, that's always a good sign of quality work. So, yeah, but the actual like libraries that they're using are the ASP.NET Core previews. So like you can still have those being Net Core 2 compatible, right? So like, but when you release your actual 1.0, it doesn't have all the stuff that was in the preview. Since these are like separate libraries now and not like all in .NET Core. So there's got to be something handy because this is a common thing. So request body SHA-256 hash ASP.NET Core 2. Maybe I can get some hint on how to generate. That's probably not what I'm looking for. Maybe it is. Please tell me. That is crazy. I hope that there's something easier than having to create a method just to do this. No. Let me steal this. Ugh. Yeah. So I need like webhooks receivers? Is that what I need? Yeah. Yeah, webhooks receivers. Let's try that. Oh, spelling. Let's try this one. No. It's incompatible with all frameworks. Yay! It's an abstract class, so you have to implement the class. Yeah. But it should just give me access to that method, right? So like, I don't actually need the filter functionality. I mean, I can just copy paste the method and have it in here. That just seems like dumb. Like it should. This is a common ASP .NET thing that you would have to do, both generating and checking it. That's true. All right. So, looks like I'm going to be creating a utility. There's a trigger for it. Fine. Oh, yeah. There's a type webhook, but it doesn't look like it does the um, SHA-256 thing by default, right? It's, uh, yeah, I don't think using the webhook trigger is that interesting um, versus like just a regular HTTP. Yeah, yeah. There's like not a whole lot of difference between the two, other than like it says that it's a webhook and it only allows post. Um, it's just like I don't know, splitting hairs. Not gonna lie, I'm much better versed in AWS Lambdas than I am in Azure Functions. But that's a different story. Yeah. All right. So I guess I'm just gonna have to steal that, or like create a utility class that has these on it to use. So hmm, oh, public. See, I don't want public. I need I can never remember my accessors on this. Oh, no problem. I remember quite clearly webhooks from V1 functions too, and then I didn't see the same kind of stuff in V2 when I was originally digging, but I also remember that the last time I did webhooks, I gave up and said, screw it, I'm just going to do an HTTP trigger um, in V1, so I never had any problems with it. I mean, you have to do some more boilerplate code that it does for you, but then you don't have to deal with all the headaches that the webhook um, triggers had. All right. Public static class. Um, I'm gonna go with public. Why not? It's probably do something better, but why not? Um, I don't even think that's right for a class. Man, I'm so rusty on my C sharp. It's been like months since I've done anything in C sharp. Um,
I dream of this every night.
public static bool. Validate. Let's try to steal some of this name from this function. I don't think static actually applies to the class, but I'll get back to that in a second. Compute request. So we have that do a string instead. Just return the string with a request and a secret. All right. Sometimes copy paste is not my friend. So I end up like doing the wrong button press and copying nothing in VS Code. That's kind of annoying. Public static. What are you doing? So I need an HTTP request, which if I look at it as thanks for the follow, Cyan J Droid. So HTTP request is a Microsoft ASP.NET Core HTTP. So I need to add this using into there to my utility CS. So I can take HTTP request and a string secret. Yeah. Protected virtual async. Yeah, so copy pasta on this is probably a decent strategy. Although copy and pasting from GitHub directly is painful. Let me find a search string and then view raw. That was it. Make sure there's not one further down. Yeah, that's 505. Let's generously steal this from ASP.NET. I'm seriously wondering why I can't just use this in there directly. Alright, so. Oh no. That screws everything up. Now let's just hide this. Read through what these parameters are, because it's asking for a lot more than, yeah, so I just need to pass it null null. So I can probably copy the overload for this as well, so that I can just do a simpler call to it. Yeah, it's this one. No? It does byte secret instead of string secret. That's interesting. So I actually need all the overloads. That's cute. Well, whatever. We'll just copy all the overloads. Yeah, so yeah, I'm only going to call one, but I'm lazy and I don't want to refactor all of this code, right? Like, let's just leave it as is. Maybe I can reuse this utility later, and I might actually need the other stuff. So, now that I have this, I probably need to figure out what stuff I need to get added into here. Argument null exception's fine. Prepare request body. Well, that's not going to be anywhere. Yeah, what is that even doing? Yeah, this is problematic. I don't know if this is going to work because it's a let me see if it's in this other file, but put this in here. Web jobs. Yeah. Ugh, yeah. Yeah, it's very incestuous. It somebody had a simpler one that I think that came up in my Google search that I might be able to just. Thanks for the follow, Lunatics00. I can just copy and paste that one because it looked like it did. I mean, I know all that it needs to do is basically take the body, convert it to bytes, and then take the secret and do a 256 hash on it. Oh man, this is all over. Yeah, let me find that other one that I was looking at. Might be Oh, I just realized that I had this on Firefox all the time. Whatever. Okay. Some of my... This one right here. 512. Yeah, I could probably just copy this one and adjust it to 256. No, it's in ASP Labs though. Isn't that their like testing ground for future features? Like, don't use this in production type stuff. Yeah, I looked and like the only thing that I found that had any kind of decent Twitch webhooks was this TwitchLib project, but it's like behind on versions and stuff, and like I couldn't get that running in Azure Functions if I wanted to. I'd have to do some kind of custom app function somewhere or a custom app service. And that sounds like a bad ideas and expensive ideas. Anyways, this looks a little more promising. It's not public static async task byte secret. I've never been really fond of the way that some of these are laid out. This is also doing prepare request body on request. Let's see what that does. I'm actually not on. HTTP request. I'm pretty sure that I just need to get the bytes of that, and I don't need to figure out what that's doing. So it's right below on that page. Oh, that's helpful. Oh, look at that. Yeah. Request.body.drain async. That sounds totally safe. Yeah, but yeah, I'll steal that too. Okay. So that's good. over. All right. I've done some formatting here. This one's for 512, but I need to do the 256 one. So I'm going to do 256. It's the same exact thing though. Now I need to find out what this is contained in and add that reference. System security cryptography. Let's see. Yeah. I hope this is right. Is this also in standard 2? Looks like it is. All right. So let's try using yep. So that part's good. Use the assembly name for .NET add package. Yeah, that's easier said than done, right? Like, namespace is easy to find. The assembly is like you have to dig all the times, unless it's actually in the .NET documentation, right? And for some of these other ones, they're not, especially for ASP.NET. Yeah, this one. Okay. So input stream. I think that's it, right? Like, I don't think that I have to do anything because all of the stream system IO. I'm kind of confused. Like, this VS Code used to give me squigglies when I had a class that wasn't defined. Yeah. Let's read. Yeah, I hope that's as simple as just replacing 512 with 256 on all of this, and that the actual, like, it seems like this is right. Yep. All right. But I need to pass in the secret as bytes, which is not too hard. Just have to convert it. All right, so this comes in as SHA-256, but something that I can steal from that project is the code in here to take that and split it just to save some time. Should. Yeah. Fields equal header value split. Yeah, and then this and this. I can kind of copy this and shove it in my body and update it. This doesn't need to be. Turn that off there. Back in VS Code. All right. So instead of that, calling it signature. So basically this is splitting it by that because the it should be like 256 equal and then the hash signature. So if it doesn't have two is that right? Yeah. Yeah, if it doesn't have two fields after the split, then it's a bad signature. If the then it does header fields 1, so that should be the signature piece. And if it says null or empty, then we need to return. I need to really learn how to spell return or type it properly on the first one. I make that mistake millions of times. All right, so now the expected hash from hex. So the expected hash is what we need to calculate. So I'm going to change this utility around to take a string for the secret. And convert it. So Control H to secret bytes. And then take this as a string here. Bar secret bytes equals oh man. You'd figure with as much as I do it, I would remember off the top of my head how to actually do string to UTF-8 bytes conversion, but I can never remember off the top of my head. So yeah, system text encoding UTF. Other way around, get bytes, encoding. Yeah, system.text and then encoding UTF-8 get bytes. And it's just take a string. Yeah. Secret. There. I think that's simpler. Instead of having to pass in the bytes for the secret, which we know is going to be a string because that's what we have to give to the other side. Might as well just make this easier on ourselves. Put that in the utility function. So from hex, yeah, I don't know what they were doing in their original thing there, but I'm going to delete that one. Don't think it makes sense. Our expected hash or wait, and then request, and then secret, which I'm going to do for now as just super secret password. Again, this is another thing that I'll have to get done. I'm going to update my to-do with a couple of things here. To do. So for later, when I actually hook in configuration to this, I need to make sure that I take in the secret from configuration so I can set it as a environment or runtime variable or whatever they're calling it in Azure Functions configuration option. And then also need to make sure that this becomes a constant since we use that. All right. So now I've got the expected hash and just verify what they were doing in the original code here. Big secret actual hash is what they're doing. I really don't know what this from hex is doing. Let me see if it's in their thing. No. So, who knows? Alright, so change this around. This is actual hash. I actually don't have anything visible. That's helpful. Um, so in this verify signature filter, they sit there and say, you know, comes across as that we need to get the hex value of that. So apparently we're getting back a hex from the compute request body hash. Double check what the one that we did actually does. So return hasher, not hash. It's a byte array. Let me see. Is there some... dig around for what this from hex is. Okay. Oh, that's a lot of fun. Let's see what their documentation has. SHA-256 secret notification bytes. So that should be just a string, right? Should be the hash string they send. But for whatever reason in here, they're like, we need to get this from a hex, which I'm not exactly sure what they're going for there and why. So the expected hash is they take from hex header, but this should be in their project, but it's not. When I search their project for from hex, I don't find it anywhere except in that one usage, which doesn't help. All right, well, I think I'm gonna take a prolonged break at this and come back later. If anyone's still listening, thanks for sticking around, and we'll see you later.